Chair Pedori,
Here.
Vice Chair Byrne,
Yes.
Director Garcia Arzola. We have a quorum.
So is the director present?
He is not online. He is scheduled. He did post on the agenda.
Okay.
He will be remote. So
Okay.
he has not joined yet.
All right, very good. Item number 3, public communications. Any public comments today? I don't see anyone in the room.
None online.
No, none online. All right, we'll close public comment. Discussion action as the first item is item 4A, approved personal committee minutes. These are from 2025 and 26. Any comments on this? If anybody remembers, any comments?
The only the item in 2025, we had brought the item. We came back into session in January. We did not approve the minutes, and we identified that to include it in today's minutes approval.
All right. Anything good? Okay. Do we need a?
Yes.
Right. All right. Let's do a roll call vote. Do we have a motion? I guess we have
I'll make a motion to approve minutes as presented.
I'll second. Roll call vote.
Do we need a roll call?
If he's listed, do we need a roll call?
Yes.
If he's online, it's prudent to do a
But
roll
if he's
call.
not,
He's not.
He's not here, then I think, and presuming it looks like he may not join us, how about this? If and when he joins us, we'll pivot to a roll call vote, but
Okay.
otherwise we can continue with all in favor.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
We're gonna be quick, hopefully. For item number 4B is the annual review of the personnel committee bylaws.
So no changes to the bylaws.
Okay.
It's really just if there are changes, suggestions that you guys would like to make, so that way we can take that back. Otherwise, we continue business as usual. I will call out in the second page, the article for responsibilities, section E. You'll see that's why we have our conflict of interest code as an item today, is that this is part of what the personal committee responsibilities are.
Okay.
Other than that, there aren't any changes. It's
Okay.
that highlight.
Yeah, and just a quick comment from me is it says the last time this was approved by the board was in 2022. So is this like a 5-year practice or 4-year practice to review this, or?
We review annually, but then we have like a practice of taking it back if there are changes. So the last time there were actually changes and
Okay.
updating something, we had established the bylaws in 2022.
Okay.
So then if there are changes, we would take it back to the board. But if
Okay,
not, if you guys have no suggestions, nothing you want us to look into.
Do you have any
These
suggestions?
are good.
Okay, I just had a comment. It's not a suggestion, but a comment in what we're gonna do later on probably. So under Article 6E, it's the 6.1.d, it says general manager evaluation. And so far from what I've been here, it seems like it's a procedural item, has some steps that we undertake. And it seems like it's a process oriented item. If there is any inclination to add that process or procedure into this, I'm open to it. So just thinking through like future, it's already there, or somebody's got to look at it instead of like trying to explain to them what the process is. So just a thought, food for thought. I don't want to make that change right now, but something for the future. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. Or otherwise, I'm good with this. And this does this require?
It's a review.
Just review unless there's an interest in making any change.
Okay, that was my only comment. So we'll. Okay, thank you. And then the next item is item. So any public comments? I don't see anybody in online or here, so we'll close that item out and move on to 4C, which is the new classification of communications associated with proposed salaries. This is Felipe, your item?
It's Director Guerrero's item.
My show today.
Okay, all right.
Unless you want other people speaking. So we tried to highlight all the information within the memo so that you guys could see it ahead of time, but essentially part of the budget process was also making those recommendations within the positions. And we did have a recommendation to remove one of our communications department positions. Namely, the fact that more than 50% of that job was going to be changing with the upcoming Senate bills that we see and the scope of the department changing. That is essentially what we're bringing back today, is we've been able to work with the communications department to see and vet what are their true needs and where do they see on the horizon those changes, both with the state, right, legislation wise, what they are going to need to address in the future. And so what we've brought is a position for communications associate classification, and that accurately reflects the current and the future needs. So that's essentially what this is. And we've also included the job description so that way you guys could see. We've made some minor updates in terms of the structure, just namely adding at the very top right the union status so that transparency wise they know what unit these positions are in. And then on the last page of the job description, we did add a section for adopted and revised so that we can start to keep a track of when was the position board adopted, and then also these revisions that are occurring so that we can see how consistently are we reviewing our job descriptions as a whole, because they do impact, our comp analysis.
Makes sense.
Questions?
Any questions? My general question is, so we were just saying specialist is now associate. I mean, so it's instead of being specializing, it's generalizing, like composting the position, so to speak.
Yes.
I've kind of evaluated the needs of the department overall, and I've been here for 6.5 years. As I've seen the department and heard about the history, we were very focused on public education prior to 2020. So a main focus was school outreach, public and community outreach, tours, those sorts of things. Since I've been here, I've worked more to digitalize a lot of our communications, obviously rebranding the organization, but now we're moving more into an advocacy and also a member agency support structure. The state is imposing quite a few regulations on your member agencies with regards to solid waste legislation, and ReGen has traditionally assisted with all of those things. Senate Bill 1383 was the biggest one in 30 years. We have a new one with Senate Bill 54 headed our way that we've begun to dug into. And so what we're really trying to do is reallocate the department's needs and where we can streamline. So one of the major things that I've realized in being here is there's been a lot of duplicity between the role that ReGen plays and the role that the haulers that you contract with provide in terms of public education and outreach. So we've been relied upon because I think, frankly, that history has been that the team has done a decent job in those areas. But you're paying for those services from green waste, waste management, and Monterey Disposal. They have their own contract with the city of Monterey that doesn't include those services, but that's kind of outside of the discussion. And so making sure that the haulers are really filling in its entirety the needs that the communities have as it relates to education and outreach. So we can kind of provide more of an umbrella structure to that while simultaneously addressing the new needs that you all have with the legislation. So kind of peeling back some of the school outreach, some of the in-person outreach, and working to have them be the leads in some of the areas like school outreach and in-person outreach, while we can kind of provide that overall framework for all of them.
Seems like a lot, so hopefully this guy or gal can achieve it. Just so that you mentioned SB 54, right? So that's is that, just from my understanding, that's we're everybody come to ReGen to dispose, but the data that you collect, this individual will be really responsible to understand which data is coming from which city and pulling that together.
No, I think what we've just analyzed is that what we need is to do less direct to institution or direct to individual outreach and really provide this position will be providing more support for other activities such as legislation, but not that they will be the expert in those areas, but that we need more support in other areas where we're serving the member agencies versus like doing the school outreach, for example.
Okay.
So there would be a support to some of the other elements that are contained within our department.
Okay. Yeah, and from what I read, it's already been budgeted for, so we should be set. But I'm good with it. Any thoughts from your side?
Once again, as with everything I've seen from you, I'm impressed that you see the challenge and the opportunity here and have responded to it by doing an intelligent thing with the person that's going to do the job instead of just letting things go on, which is what happens in most places. So it's another sign that the organization is working and you're awake. I don't know how to say it. You're paying attention and not wasting resources and making sure you're deploying them in a way that's productive instead of duplicating efforts. So you explained it pretty well. So thank you.
So that's a good job of seeing around the corner before anything comes. Like that sense it's in. So yeah, that's definitely appreciated when you have teammates.
You should come and give a lecture at the city of Carmel or any city for that matter. I'm not picking on us.
Those donuts are there.
It's just true. Things tend to just perpetuate.
Right.
And sometimes it's tough to make that call to make a change because you don't want to irritate somebody or change the status quo. So very good.
Okay, and do we need a motion for this one, or is this, it is a motion, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
to recommend the approval to take that to the board. So
Okay, I'll move the recommended action.
Second.
Okay, I have everybody on. I didn't see any public comments, so just for the record, there's nobody in public. All right, I'll close item on 4C and move on to 4D, which is the personnel committee recommend board approval for the biennial updates to the ReGen conflict of interest score.
So what you guys have in the backup at the very back of this memo is the red line version, our current conflict of interest, plus the resolution as well as the exhibits. And so you'll be able to see the modifications that we've made. And really the significant change is the removal of board of directors as well as my position, director of finance. It's not that I will no longer report, it's that I am required and board is required to report directly to FPPC versus where we would normally have our staff that are listed as designated positions fill out their Form 700 and we keep that on file within our organization. So that's like one of the bigger call outs of the changes. Everything else are just standardizing based off of FPPC's current model of a conflict of interest code. So you want to take a look at those red lines. Other than that, any questions you guys have?
I think this is a great change, and we're just bringing things into compliance with respect to any duplicity and whatever we're doing here. I'm fine with the change.
Fine.
Okay, and is there I guess there's a motion, so I move the recommended action.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Seeing no public comment, we're all are in favor except for one, Alexis Rolo was absent. Thank you. So that closes our item number 4D. Item number 5 is GM Communications.
I have none at this time.
Excellent. Item number 6 is future agenda items. Anything of interest to be put on? Neither do I. All right, so we're good. Item number 7, we do have a closed session. We do have a closed session. Okay. Okay, let's move on to closed session.